Thank you very much for the person that let me know that there was no sound. So, hello and welcome to another week. So, I think, oh, 1 second. I'm just going to try and add you again, Caroline. Hello.
Hello.
Caroline, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you? 1 second. I just need to get my camera sorted.
Absolutely no problem. I've just figured out my own technology as well. I've done about 20 of these lives over the last couple of weeks, and I still forgot to turn on my microphone. So I've been sitting here for the last minute or so talking into the screen without any sound, and people were wondering if it was them or it was me. So now that we've technology all sorted, thank you very much for joining us for a Tuesday talk. Would you mind doing us the pleasure of introducing yourself?
Of course. So my name's Caroline. I have founded Dogsercise in 2019. We're based near Youghal with a gorgeous view over the estuary. And I have recently rebranded to focus slowly on dog sports. And I'm absolutely loving it. It's so good. Now, dog sports sounds very serious, but I take a very playful approach to it and a fun approach. So it's really bringing people and their dogs closer together. That's kind of my mission.
Super exciting, and I love the new focus on this because it's really, really topical, and I think a growing and ever more interesting area in this country as well. So just for anyone that's joining in that doesn't know me, I'm Killian from Reese. We set up our brand just over a year ago, or launched just over a year ago, and you can check us out later on www.ruby-reese.ie.com. And as seen as my disclaimer was one of the things that I didn't get to, well, I mouthed it but didn't actually vocalize, I might as well say it once again. In the interest of keeping this chat informal and chatty, we will be making loads of generalizations that might not necessarily be fitting for you, your own situation, or your dog. So do speak with a certified professional about your situation if you have any concerns. And now we're ready to jump into the absolutely massive and exciting topic of dog sense of smell and how to harness that. So is the dog sense of smell the most important sense that they have altogether?
It actually is. So as puppies develop in the womb, sorry, that was very German pronunciation there now. In the womb, the sense of smell is actually the first sense that is developed. And as our dogs age, it's the last one they lose. They usually don't lose it. And some studies that would nowadays probably be deemed very unethical have shown that dogs without their sense of smell become depressed because it's essentially how they see the world. Just imagine what we see with our eyes. We are very visual creatures. That's what the dogs do with their noses. It's absolutely fascinating. The deeper I dive into it and the more research comes out and the more studies that are being done, it's just absolutely blowing my mind what our dogs can do. And
so is the bottom line here, if you want to get your dog using their brain, you've got to get them using their nose. Is that basically?
Absolutely. And I know we all live busy lives. I have certainly been guilty of dragging my dog along on the morning walk before work. You know, we only have 10 minutes, quit the sniffing. But it's actually really unfair on the dog. So I would urge everyone to make at least one walk a day, the dog's walk, and let them sniff as much as they want to sniff. And if you only get from here to the next lamppost, then that be it, you know. But it's really, really, really important that they get all the information, and it's incredible what they pick up on. So it's basically their social media when you bring them on a walk and they sniff. they can determine how many other dogs were there, how many were there yesterday and the day before, right? So also if those dogs are healthy, if there are anyone or any bitches in heat, for example, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And all the other things that have been crossing the paths, you know, wildlife, birds, the cars, everything leaves residue, and the dogs really pick up on an entire history as they walk along. It's like reading the newspaper.
Exactly. No, it's fascinating, and it is always interesting to watch a dog, and you know, once they're picking up new scents in the grass or whatever, it's you can always tell, oh, this is something really exciting now. A new dog has been here, a new animal has been here, or something. Okay, so and I suppose let's just talk in general. Do certain breeds have stronger senses of smell, or more of a drive to follow that sense of, you know, follow their nose more than others, just to get that generalization out of the way as well?
I strongly believe that every dog that has a nose is born to live that way and do some form of scent work. Yes, there are breeds that have preferences. When you look, for example, at the sighthounds and the herding breeds, they're much more visual dogs that also get triggered by movement. But they equally, I have 2 collie crosses and they love their scent work, right? But getting them to switch from eye to nose, that's the magic button, basically.
Yeah.
And that takes practice, like everything else, you know, it takes practice for the dogs to actually utilize the nose, because it's more efficient. When you look at dogs that do man trailing, for example, we will position them in a way that they don't see where their trailer is going. So they have to use their noses to follow the trail. There is no other way, because we will hide the person. And especially when we have a very visual dog, we will make every effort to hide them really well. So they do switch from eye to nose really quickly, and it knocks them out completely. They get so tired because there's so much processing going on in the brain to filter the relevant odors over the irrelevant ones, to follow that trail of that person, and make sure they don't miss turns, working junctions as they progress and stuff like that. So it's really a complete mental workout. Exactly.
And before we jump into the different types, because I know you've already hinted at one or two, but before we jump straight in, is one of the benefits presumably of doing any sort of scent work to tackle behavioural issues? Because I think that's why a lot of people look to a trainer or look to do any activity with their dog, is to remedy something else or to distract from something else or something. So is it shown to be successful then with dogs that might have behavioural issues?
Absolutely. First of all, sniffing calms the dog down. It calms the brain down. It triggers an area in the brain that is the thinking brain, not the responsive brain, as in the fight, flight, freeze mode. So especially reactive dogs really benefit from any kind of scent work, or using their noses in a productive way. Also, I see it with my puppy here. Hamish just turned 1 on the 11th of September. If I don't do enough with him, he's redecorating the house.
Yeah.
It's also like scent work is really great. Like, I like to be an efficient dog trainer and dog owner. So I like my dogs to get tired quickly while I do this. Because we all have busy lives. I have 2 small kids and it's crazy, right? And also I like my dogs to really fulfill a natural desire. And scent work has really shown me that it fulfills that natural desire for sniffing, that mental stimulation for all the processing. It's also really good. Like, my dogs get scatter fed every morning for breakfast. So they sniff out their food. It satisfies their need for foraging and scavenging, like really primal desires that are bred into all our dogs. So they don't get their breakfast served on a silver tray. They have to really work for it.
Yeah.
And then I get time to do some laptop work, you know, admin, whatever is due, because they sleep for 3 hours.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
and they enjoy it as well, right? I
They
mean,
love it.
So we don't do scatter feeding with Ruby, but we do sometimes when the days have been dry and the grass outside is appropriate. We would, rather than say using a snuffle mat, which many people would know about, we just scatter some treats into the garden and leave her go wild for 15 minutes. And in our case, at the very least, it doesn't lead her to digging. It doesn't. She knows that they're on the surface. Yeah. It's not going to lead to any kind of undesired behaviors just because she's had some treats from the grass.
No, not at all. And I don't even use treats. I use my dog's kibble. Right.
Exactly.
And they're happy out. So just to give you an example, we're approaching a horrendous day tomorrow. So I already have kind of my plan panned out, what I want to do with the dogs. We're definitely going to do some scent work to keep them happy and content. Because the physical exercise won't happen as it usually would happen on a normal day. Both of my dogs, well, Hamish not so much, but Sansa hates the rain. She will probably go for a wee under the carport. Yeah. But at least I can mentally stimulate them so they feel satisfied, they feel tired, and they snooze away the rain, basically, miss the day. And I don't feel too bad for not exercising them physically because all the brain work is making it.
Exactly. So people be busy finding their snuffle mats or whatever they have at home.
Yeah.
even the stairs can be a good opportunity just to scatter a couple of things up there for them to find. So those are the things at home, but then moving on to things that might be even a little bit more exciting, a bit more challenging. You mentioned some of the scent games or scent sports already. You mentioned man trailing. Did you mention scent detection already? Do you want to go into a couple of things and describe what they're all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So man trailing has become pretty popular. I think by now pretty much everyone who has a dog has heard about it. It's where a dog follows the scent trail of a specific person. So the dog is presented with a scent article, so something the person had on their body, and then they take off, go hiding, and the dog is attached to their owner on a long line, and they follow the scent trail. So they sniff out that specific trail, or the scent particles that fell off that person they fell to the ground at some point. So the dogs will follow that trail.
Sorry, I was going to ask, I suppose when we're talking about these sports in general, and man trailing is a good example, would it be fair to say that these are sports that have evolved, that are kind of mimicking or using the techniques that would have been used to train dogs for, say, more skilled jobs like search and rescue, or maybe we might mention something to do with, say, narcotic search or armed search. Would that be a fair assumption to make?
Absolutely. And that's basically where it evolved from, right? Because at the end of the day, all dogs have a job. They've been bred for a job, right? And if you have a cute little Jack Russell Terrier, that Jack Russell Terrier has been bred to go into foxholes and drag out the foxes, right? It needs a job. They might seem happy, but eventually they will start digging in the garden. They will be dissatisfied with just sitting on the couch, and they come up with stuff that makes them feel good, right? If that is yapping at everybody who passes the window, then so be it, right? And providing an appropriate outlet that feeds into their natural desires is just the best thing you can do, because it'll solve a whole lot of problems. Right? If you have severe problems, please contact a behavior specialist. But I see it with my dogs. They are so happy. I've never had a more placid puppy than Hamish, because he started scent work at 13 weeks. And it's just amazing. Just amazing. It's beautiful. And with man trailing, we want to mimic search and rescue work and make it accessible for pet dogs. Yeah. Because obviously the training that search and rescue crews undergo is very intense, very... you need a lot of commitment for that, right? You're up on the mountain for a weekend, no matter the weather and stuff like that. They have to qualify at certain stages and Like, it's absolutely amazing what they do. But we want to bring it to pet dog owners to give their dogs an outlet for those very primal behaviors, and basically let them take the lead in something, because they are so good at it. And for once, we kind of change, we flip the coin a bit, and we say, okay, now you know what to do. I'll follow you.
Exactly.
Right.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And I suppose, like, getting into this and using their nose is brilliant and everything is one of the questions that you get asked often in the man training community in general. I suppose, if you train a dog to follow a trail, will they then, every time you go out into the woods, be searching for a trail to follow? Will they always be wandering off? I'm sure it's a question that's asked quite often.
Yeah, it is. No, it's not, because we set up the scene. And we do what we call a starting ritual. So the dog knows exactly that we're starting the job and when we're ending the job. So it's not like they're going to go wild in the woods now trying to find someone.
Okay.
Very set up. The dogs know really well when people get their food pots ready, or get that special reward ready, or put the long line in the car and the harness and everything, that we're going trailing. They get really excited about that. But I can bring my dogs for a regular walk and they're fine. They might follow a trail, yeah, but they're not looking for people.
Yeah, they were going to be doing that anyway. I mean, but it's nice to know that you can kind of let the dog know this is what we're doing today, as opposed to it being a lifestyle you sign up for forever.
No.
Or for, not forever, but for every single day is what I mean, or every outing.
And also we put it on cue.
Yeah.
So we have a special cue that we're using for man trailing when we're starting the trail, so the dogs know exactly what the job is. We also have another cue for scent detection, for example. So the dogs know what the job is. Again, maybe a nice way to introduce scent detection. So with scent detection for pet dogs, we want to obviously mimic the sniffer dogs that everybody's seen at the airport or at customs or wherever. And bring that into normal pet owner's life. So essentially, I am qualified with UK sniffer dogs. I'm a bronze instructor, and I'm really looking forward to diving into the higher levels as well, because it's really good fun. They're amazing. And making sniffing or the scent detection accessible for normal dogs and not just police dogs. Or airport dogs or customs dogs, military, whatever, is just so amazing, because it's something so simple that everybody can learn and they can have so much fun.
So, yeah, I can imagine, and I've seen your demos, obviously. So I'm trying to play devil's advocate, so that I'm asking questions that are quite introductory for everyone as well. But what is this something then that they're looking for? They're searching out a specific scent of an object. So if this was training for the real world, it could be a narcotic or a type of arms or something like that. So in our world of the sporting world, we're looking for something else, but it's a specific object. It's not that the dog just goes and looks.
Exactly. So we are using this.
Yeah, loads of us know.
So box standard red Kong. This is basically entry level. And we're starting with the full Kong, right? It has to be red, because dogs cannot see red. So if you chuck that into the grass, your dogs have to use their noses. Of course, if your grass is meticulously clipped and the Kong will kind of be a rock in there, your dogs will find it by eyesight, right? But if I chuck that into my field below where the grass is knee high, my dogs will really have to search for that. Makes it a really fun game. We've actually done that earlier just to make them tired. Really, really cool. So from this size, we're going down to this size. That's a roughly 1 centimeter piece. And we put that to a tin. That tin has a little magnet inside. So we can chuck it onto lampposts and the likes. So we put it in the tin so the dogs don't swallow them.
Yes.
For safety reasons. So there are little holes here, and the rubber scent will come out through it. So if you put your nose on that, that's quite strong.
Okay.
But this is basically then the next level. And then we are moving on to this.
Oh, wow.
This is
okay.
the 3 to 5 millimeter piece in a vial. The vial, again, to be a protector of the realm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the dogs don't just swallow it. And also to make it easier, because I've had multiple occasions now that I've shoved one into a wall, one of those beautiful Irish stone walls, and never got it back out again. So the vials help a lot with being able to grab it and take it back out.
Sure.
But yeah, it's really cool. So we're training the dogs, we're building value, and the Kong is really easy to build value in, that they want to find it because we can feed out of it. Really, really handy. And then once the value is there, we teach the dogs to systematically search. So you've seen our demos, and I have loads of pictures on Instagram as well, where the dogs stick their noses in sewage pipes or pieces of sewage pipe. We call them our scent pipes, and it's basically just to create a hiding spot and in a kind of plain environment where we don't have any grass or anything else, but to teach the dogs to search systematically and go pipe by pipe by pipe, check each pipe, and then tell us which one the Kong, the tin, or the vial is in, basically.
Very good. I lost you for a second there, but you were talking about the twisted end pipe kind of images that I know well from your Instagram, where the dogs go along and systematically smell through them. Is that right? Yeah,
that's right. Just to train a systematic search.
Okay.
A lot of the dogs, if you place a hideout in, let's say, a 10 square meter plot, right? And you clip the lead off and you tell them to search, they will go frantically.
Yes. And
they might accidentally come across it. What we want to teach our dogs is to be a bit more systematic about it. So we're using the pipes for that. We're using chairs for that. We're doing chair searches. Eventually we're going on to searching cars as well. Vehicle searches, really good fun. Stone walls. We've done searches at the beach where we've buried the Kong in sand and got the dogs to find that and dig it out. It's all about making it fun to improve communication and relationship between dogs and their owners. Because if something always gets harder, it's very demotivating when you know, oh, okay, let's see what happens today. You know that from your school days, right? It only gets harder.
Yeah, the challenge increases all the time. Yeah.
So we want to bring in the fun bit as well, and I play around a lot with making things. Yeah, putting up a challenge. Obviously, everybody likes a challenge, dogs as well. But also making it achievable and giving them a quick win in between to keep the motivation up. So sessions at the beach are really good fun. All the dogs love it because they can dig. They're really engaged. It's amazing. They're smiling, really happy.
Sorry. I think we broke up again very, very, very briefly, but it's all good. The storm was coming in the south of Ireland, I think, so we're feeling the effects on the internet already. Yeah. But you mentioned an awful lot of fun. I did get a lot of the fun aspect out of your last couple of sentences. Are these sports something that are good to take part in with kids as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had people bringing their kids to workshops. So the scent detection would happen in workshop format, or I do a 6-week course. From time to time, I offer that if people want to do that. And once they've completed the Series 1 and Series 2 workshops, they can participate in trials, which is really nice as well. I have my first lot of trials coming up just before Halloween now, and they're going to be Halloween themed, so it's great fun. And my regulars are really looking forward to that already. And they're going to get a lovely rosette as well. It's really nice to kind of measure progress a little bit. But like bringing the fun aspect in, yes, everybody can do it. No matter what, we can tailor things to the teams, to the individual teams as well. And if kids want to get involved, just bring a parent or guardian to stay with them at the session, and all welcome.
Which is brilliant. Yeah, you mentioned all right just there that you've Halloween themed things coming up, and I noticed on your website you've got some let's say magical, mystical themed things that are definitely worth checking out. Really, really exciting, especially for, I suppose, if you are integrating people of different age groups, let's say, into it. And I suppose using the nose is going to be brilliant as well for tiring out your dog a little bit before, Halloween, so they're not on high alert.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the thing you've seen is my scent adventures. These are, yes, the dogs are sniffing a lot, but they're sniffing out treats. It's not, they're not finding pieces of Kong because they have to be trained to find pieces of Kong, same as any other target odor that we're using. However, with treats, really everybody can participate regardless of experience. And I do the Halloween. Halloween is actually my favorite scent adventure because I really get a good kick out of it. Yeah. So the last two or 3 years now, they've been kind of murder mystery style. Last year I've done an escape room style. Good fun as well.
Yeah.
But essentially, people that book in, they're booked into a group of maximum 6 dogs, and you're moving around and you're solving a case. This year it's Harry Potter themed. I'm really excited about that because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I love it. So I'm gonna make it loads of fun, and everybody's task will be to find the sorcerer's bone and save dog words before it falls into the wrong paws.
It's amazing. I love it. You're going with the theme anyway. I love it.
Absolutely. Oh, I love this kind of stuff. So the scent adventure is absolutely accessible for everybody. I do a few daytime events as well for the dogs that don't do well in the dark.
Yeah.
So I try to accommodate reactive dogs as much as I can. Please, if you have questions or you're not so sure, get in touch. Even if you have a group of friends, like it's really all about setting everybody up for success and having a great time and not worrying too much about, the other dogs are too close and stuff. I'm really strict as well. Everybody's being briefed to give individual dogs space if they need space. We have loads of space here. But of course, the Halloween adventure is quite challenging because it will be in the dark for most of it. But I do offer daytime events as well. So
brilliant. I love it. Yeah. I love it, and I love the overall ethos that you've built up now with your brand as well. Having fun with your dog, getting out there, getting the nose going, but I suppose doing it in a fun way that everyone can enjoy. And sometimes you can do themed adventure trails and things like that. Like it's something so important, and I think a lot of the time we forget about it when we watch trainers on TikTok or on Instagram. Your dog should be sitting immediately when you say sit and all of this, and it takes all the fun out of it. So I think it's
absolutely,
it's great to have kind of an approach where you can have a bit of enjoyment and build up kind of a bit of a team attitude with your dog as well. So I suppose thank you so much, Caroline, for coming on and speaking with me this evening about such a huge topic. I know it's massive to talk about, and you couldn't even I think there's probably people that wrote doctorates about each one of these questions. Yeah. So it's understandable we've only scratched the surface. But guys, if you're not following, dogsercise.ie is the Instagram page, and presumably also the website where you can check out all of the different activities coming up and see what you can get involved with your dog.
Absolutely. And any questions, just pop me a message. I'm happy to get back. Especially if you're not so sure what's suitable for your dog, I'm happy to guide people. And I also do one-to-one sessions. Everything I offer, I do on a one-to-one basis as well for those doggies that just don't do so well in a group. Mm-hmm. So there is no reason not to do it because it's so fantastic. So good for dogs.
It's brilliant. Keep enjoying it. Keep having fun with your dogs. Keep sniffing. And thank you so much again, Caroline, for joining me.
Having me. Thanks.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
Bye.